I think maybe like 75% is in my genes. My mom is very anxious and my nonna was very anxious as well. I say everything and it sounds dramatic, but it really stopped me from everything. It got to the point where I was having panic attacks and to the point where I was passing out in like random situations. Not leaving the house to do fun things, not leaving the house to do regular things. I feel like it was almost a year that I was like pretty much agoraphobic. Movement is my medicine because it cures pretty much everything. Every day you're kind of like going around this whirlpool and you're swimming, and if you kind of just let the current take you, it's gonna want to like take you down. So if you just keep swimming and keep putting in the effort, then it's a lot easier than trying to swim out of this vortex of depression and anxiety. It might have started back in elementary school. Before then it was just kind of like social awkwardness and I didn't really have a name for it. But high school is when it like full blown. Sad, like that's 4 years of what I thought was misery. Day with anxiety was probably more geared towards like if I was going to school and know that I would be either doing a test or being around certain people that I knew were kind of like more, I don't want to call them kind of bullies, but I kind of got made fun of sometimes. So like if I had a class with them or I knew they were going to be like in a certain area or stuff like that, that would kind of make me a bit more anxious than on like a regular day. And I would normally try and kind of fake sick and not go to school.
Psychiatric disorders are a combination of 3 factors. There is a biology that you come in with, then you have a personality profile that you as a person are, and then there are environmental factors that are circumstances, things that have happened, or things that you encounter on a daily basis. And all of those 3 have to come in together, almost like you can say in a perfect storm, to have symptoms come up.
I would say I was in grade 10 or 11. And there was this one math class that had my ex-boyfriend in it. And he was kind of giving me a hard time. And like, I do remember sitting in class and kind of like he sat behind me to the right side and kind of just feeling like really like shaky and anxious and kind of nervous. And just knowing that he was there and talking to his buddies and whispering and like they threw little paper balls at me and stuff like this. And then I kind of like freaked out and lost it a bit and yelled and then stormed out because obviously embarrassment and stuff like that.
Bullying, teasing, putting each other down, having different cliques in school and one better than the other. All of this is very anxiety provoking for our youth. But at the time, we are not as astute as teenagers or adolescents to verbalize how we're feeling.
When you're going through school, like school is like your whole life. Like you don't have, like some people have like activities and stuff that they do outside of school and stuff like that. So that helps. But like, because my parents had split when I was really young, it was just mainly me and my mom for a really good portion of the time. And we couldn't really afford anything like extra. It's almost like you're stuck with these people who treat you a certain way and like you know nothing else. Like you don't know other people who are like you and who kind of like understand. Sorry.
She kept a distance to most people. I think the toughest part was when she shut the door and stayed in her room. That was really tough. And I'd go sit down with her and say, what's going on? And it wasn't really until a friend of hers came and said she wants to, kill herself, which was really bad. And she was cutting her wrists and stuff like that. So that was at the point where I just said, okay, we've got to do something. We've got to find somebody to talk to. Nobody wants to know that their child's going through that kind of hardship.
So I had issues with cutting just based on trying to find an outlet and deal with all of this sort of situation because I didn't know what it was. I know this sounds really weird, but when you have all of these emotions, you kind of need somewhere to put it. And I didn't know where to put it, and I didn't know what to do with it. And it kind of felt better. It gave you something to focus on. It gave you the pain to kind of change your emotions from freaking out, anger, to this hurts, and it kind of gives you a release of something else.
When you talk about psychiatric disorders in general, all of them are within the normal realm of human behavior. The problem becomes when it becomes to a point in intensity or the frequency to a point that it affects their daily function. That is when you say it has from a normal behavior has become a disorder, and that needs to have some intervention.
Really, it's psychotherapy, drugs, or lifestyle. Those are really the three main opportunities for individuals. Now there are other types of sort of therapies that are coming through that are being tested, but in general, if I was to group them, it would be sort of the psychotherapies, the drugs, and lifestyle management.
So it wasn't about dealing with the certain feelings or issues that I had surrounding anxiety. It was just, well, we'll just give you medication and hopefully it feels better. There was no other outlet or anything like that. They were just kind of almost just putting a Band-Aid on it.
My mom had issues with medications back when the doctor just said, yeah, take this, this'll work. And she got addicted to it. So, and I know Jana does not want to be in that, type of field where she's taking medication. She's always been against it.
The first time that I tried stopping the medication was when I started going to college. I don't have an exact reason why I thought of activities like physical activity. It just felt like that's what it needed. So that kind of took my focus instead of on past or future or anything like that and put it there. When I was going through the paramedic program, two of my professors were actually skating for Hamilton. And so I went to a game and saw it, and I was just this is great. This is something I'm definitely interested in. And then she's like, well, we're accepting new members all the time. Why don't you come out and go to a practice? So I got some skates, got some gear, and went out. It was weird. As soon as I put my skates on and then started going to practice, it was just someone turned on a light and was like, okay, this is it. It's the satisfying click of when you click your seatbelt together. It's just just fit. It all kind of came together and worked for the same sort of goal, which was just feeling better.
People in general understand the benefits of exercise and are interested in it, especially if it means that it changes sort of their dose of medication, or that they don't have to go on medication at all because of the added side effects of all the medications related to mental illness. And so, if exercise could sort of help relieve some of those symptoms of the medication that individuals are on, as well as give all the benefits that we know around exercise, then it's a, you know, sort of there's no risk involved in engaging in an exercise program, which is extremely rewarding for the type of research that we're doing right now, because really it's now a matter of getting it in the ears of the clinicians and the practitioners and everyone around to say, you know, we need more and more individuals to exercise. We need this to be an opportunity. And I really think that we need to continue to invest in providing sport experiences all the way across the lifespan, not just in youth, even though we're not even doing a great job of that, but in general across the lifespan, because we know the benefits.
So modern derby is like a highly competitive contact sport for women. It is typically played with like 5 players on each team on the track at one time. So there is 4 blockers on each team and then a jammer on each side. And the goal is for you to get your jammer out of the pack first. And then when they come around the second lap, they collect points for every person on the other team that they pass.
I know it's not really like a gender stereotype for girls to, well, I guess it is a gender stereotype for girls to like be aggressive and hit each other and then kind of go out to the bar afterwards and like we're all okay with it. It's all really, really good.
A huge part of derby is having this like derby name. You can take on this kind of like new persona through this name that you kind of pick for yourself. So Jana's pseudonym is Larazaslam. Her name has a connection to like her like mental health and anxiety, and also like how kind of derby has been kind of therapeutic for her, you know, through playing the sport and, you know, having like a new side of her kind of come out through the sport.
I find that when you have anxiety, you're focused on past, present, future. You know, you're focused on anything and everything. And when you're kind of doing roller derby, there's so much going on, so much to focus on, so much that requires your attention that there's just no room for anything else. Everything kind of goes away. It's pretty cool.
It's sort of this like coping mechanism or this distraction. There's a social element. There's also a mastery element, and that what I mean by that is that when you exercise, you're doing something to engage in, you know, or achieve goals, and that those little goals that you achieve, even just starting the exercise itself, relates to more and more improvements in your confidence, and that confidence is something that leads to mental health.
I think the roller derby was amazing for her. We were quite happy about her getting out and meeting people and just acting normal and not having this big block over her shoulders. So it's different. It just worries me that she's gonna break a leg or an arm or something. But she's enjoying it and she does really well.
The community is very diverse. Like there's a lot of different random people and it's great. Like because everybody's so different and everybody seems to have gone through like a lot of different things, that everybody's fairly accepting and open and just loving. Like you could have like a school teacher with like, you know, some rocker chick, or like there's just so many different kind of people. We all have this one goal and this one thing that we love. I don't really know how to describe the bond because I haven't really experienced it before, but it's pretty tight. It kind of lets you know that everybody went through something. Like it kind of makes you feel like you're not alone and this is not something new, and it just kind of makes you feel okay with everything. I've been off medication for probably 4 or 5 years now. Movement is my medicine because it cures pretty much everything. Like, it all just feels really good. Like, there's no other way to describe it other than it just feels really, really good. Like, even if you're just like hanging out with the girls at a practice and like just skating around, like the release of energy, the physicality, it just all, it feels like a nice warm hug. I think I want to continue doing it as much as physically possible. And if I can't do roller derby, I'm going to find something else that I love. I know it won't be a love as much because roller derby is pretty great. I still deal with a lot of anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that. But I think I'm just generally happier than I was. I think that would be the word. I'm just generally happy.